Why? Whoops. There we go. Why, hello, everyone. It is I, Dungeon Master Jeremy, back at it again. I see I forgot to clear out the adventure text from last week. Whoopsies. Alright, we got that all figured out. How's it going, y'all? A long time no see, unless we saw you tomorrow or yesterday. In which case, short time no see. Hi, Sheba. How you doing, bud? We can set up, and I see we got Pug. Pug, you weren't asleep this time. Congratulations. Okay. Hey, nerds. How's it going? You know, Sheba, you're right. I mean, there definitely is a risk to letting people make their own character sheets in the lobby. But, like, when it comes down to it, it's just a matter of, like, hey, man, don't be a dick. We also will gain the power to roll back our lobbies if something goes terribly wrong. So, we're figuring it out. How you doing, y'all? I see, Flannel Plug, you're just simply resting nap. Well, I suppose that's fair. But yeah, how you guys doing? I'm pretty excited for this adventure. Should be a good one. In case you all hadn't heard, let me just quickly, just for the VOD, D&D time behind the screen. Basically, this is Jeremy and Jeremy's D&D time. This is where I sit down and with the help of our chat and this lovely little PDF book here, we convert a 4th edition adventure for a 5th edition D&D, set it up in Roll20, and get ready to roll. And yeah, it's always a lot of fun setting these adventures on Sunday, which is tomorrow my time, but you know, maybe if you're watching this in the future, it might be a different time. We have a group of players who come on to DnDTime Delves and play with us and run through this adventure. It should be a ton of fun. We have a very, a different kind of delve going on this week, because on Sunday we have a different cast of characters. I think I forgot to send the announcement, so I'm going to send that now, just to the... What? There we go. Yep, I am officially live, Discord. But yeah, we got a different delve going on this week. We got a different cast of characters. Should be a lot of fun, I hope. I think it's going to be fun. What am I talking about? We got Pete. We have Matty Morgs from Twitch TV/Matty Morgs. MATTYMORGS. I think there's 2 T's. Pretty sure. Who does a whole bunch of cool Dungeons and Dragons stuff, mainly working on, or recently been working heavily on, kind of building characters and how to really take your character creation and getting into the game to that next level, right? Helping you really understand what you're doing rather than just know. Because I mean, you can know how to build a character, but understanding why and what you're doing is kind of that next step, and he's kind of that step there. So if you're interested, check him out. But he's one of our guests, and then also we have 2 celebrity guests from D&D time. We have Xanderil, who better not be in the chat, and Adrian P, known as Switch, lovingly in the Twitch chat. They'll both be joining us for this adventure. It should be really good. We're playing at level 14, so this is a pretty high-level thing. I added the name of the adventure to the screen, finally. God forbid, because we didn't, you know... Who knew what the adventures? Oh, I see. I forgot to update the stream title. Let me just quickly update that. Whoop. Ugh. I'm bad at this, guys. That's okay. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in post. I'm a celebrity to you. Thank you, Flannel Pug. Yeah, I'm a celebrity to me too. So, see, she was saying. Speaking of which, you need to make an innocuous small beast turn into something absolutely vicious and horrible when it attacks. That's a great point. Well, here's the thing. Switch, well, I think Switch is a player, just likes fucking up monsters. But Switch is a character. Like, Sileus Switch, his character, really is a lover of monstrosities, which I dig. I respect that, because I love monstrosities. But yeah, Cog Whistle, thank you for following. We appreciate all of the support and jumping in here, hanging out. Yes, which likes fucking up everything that moves. Exactly, Shiva. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff that moves in this adventure. So I've glanced at it just a little bit here in the book. It's a pretty cool one. We're dealing with a lot of devils and actually a lot of enemies. Most of these delve adventures, let me just take a step back for a second, actually. Dungeon Delves is a book that was released in 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It contains 30 one-shot adventures. They're each about, like, maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours of gameplay. If you really drag it out or have a slow group, you might go for 4.5. But they're pretty concise. You sit down with a bunch of people, very little prep, you play the game. It's a lot of fun, really easy. It's how I first started getting into dungeon mastering. It was through this book. I really love this book. I think it's great. And it's really easy to convert these adventures to 5th edition. So that's what we're doing today. So I guess the first thing to kind of talk about is some of the major... Well, let's not talk about too many of the major differences between 4e and 5e. We'd have to, like, that'd be a show in its own right, and that would just get long. It'd get very lengthy. But this adventure is called the Smoldering Flames of War. I'm sorry, it's simply Smoldering Flames of War. There's no the. And it deals heavily with devils, which I love devils. Pete loves devils. Everybody loves devils. They're just a very classic enemy to have to fight. They're a very militaristic and well-organized enemy, and that makes them really cool because when you're playing and running devils as a dungeon master, you can take another level of tactics and kind of strategy into it, which is very, like, it's very validated to do that with the kind of enemy. I started a campaign the other day with 4 elves and a Kenku, says the Flannel Pug. That is a very interesting campaign. You know, what would be even weirder, though, is 4 Kenkus and an elf. Oh, that poor elf. All the Kenkus are just playing Mimic. Oh, boy. Oh, we're already talking about tortoiseshells. Oh, no. D-Frog, you started the tortoiseshell monster. Sheba, you've jumped right on the train. Well, we'll have to think about these turtle shells as we get going, guys. But anywho. Yeah, Smoldering Flames of War. It's real cool. Set in the 9 hells. Really are rad. So, the very first thing that all of these adventures kind of do, I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit here, so hopefully y'all can read maybe a little better what I'm looking at. But all of these adventures start with a pretty straightforward kind of adventure description to them. And so this one is very, very short. Many of the adventures here are quite a bit longer in their adventure hook, but this one's real short. It simply reads, the PCs, or player characters, have traveled to 9 hells to confront an outpost of devils responsible for slave raids on their homeland. In this realm of burning ash and fire-streaked skies, the infernal legions prepare constantly for war. Straight up nice and simple. It's just got everything kind of right on there in a very cut and dry kind of way. So that's a great kind of starting point, right? I think in most of these adventures in the Dungeon Delve book, you have to take their adventure hook and kind of dial it back a little bit, and then figure out where you're going. But on this one, I think we can elaborate and put a little more detail into it, just because I think, well, we can make this a little more flavorful for them. So the first thing you want to do when you're coming up with a one-shot adventure, whether you're converting from 4e or playing in 5e or what horrible tentacle demon named Jeremy. Why do we need a tentacle demon? Why am I a tentacle demon, Bionic Sheba? Oh, devil.
Tentacle demon?
Apparently I'm a tentacle demon, Jamie. Yeah, who knew? I'm sorry, never mind. I'm a tentacle devil. We're okay.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense now. Anyway, so the first thing we want to start with is the adventure hook. This is a very straightforward one, very simple. And whenever you're going to run a one-shot, you want to come up with your adventure hook first. If you're playing in a more full feature-length campaign, you can craft your adventure hooks more like neatly and cleanly to your characters. So, for example, if you have like a cleric of Selune, goddess of the moon and stars, and they are just kind of wandering around and blah blah blah, and you have this big eldritch entity that you want them to go fight. That's kind of your adventure hook, is explore the dungeon and fight the eldritch entity at the end. Well, all right. you can have like the stars start to blink out, right? And through divinations and scrying magics at the local Temple of Selune, they have found that the source of these stars in the sky blinking out is somewhere deep within this temple, an inscrutable eldritch force that has driven some of the servants of the temple insane in their attempts to scry upon it and find more. And right there, you have just crafted an incredibly like gripping adventure hook for your character. Just because, like, yeah, you just pull it out of your ass. It's really easy. That is how you DM is. You think, all right, what do I have to work with? And the answer is, I've got my characters. And what do the characters care about? All right, they care about their god. They care about maybe their friends or families. They care about NPCs. Maybe they care about money. Whatever they care about. And you have something threaten that. And boom, they suddenly care. They suddenly want to go there. Maybe they only care about magic items, and there's a really powerful magic item rumored to be in this dungeon. Any way you kind of roll it, you can make it work. It's a kind of acquired skill. You learn to pull this stuff off as you go along, but it's really not that hard once you do it a few times. It becomes kind of second nature to just come up with really easy ways to engage your characters on a deeper kind of level. But anywho, so that's what we're going to go with this, except I don't know my players. So we're just going to stick with the very generic adventure hook here. And that is our heroes. I don't like the term the PCs because that's so like the player characters are doing this thing. No. So our heroes venture forth into the Nine Hells in pursuit of an ancient well, not an ancient and terrible, that's too cliche, of a raiding party of devilish insurgents who have captured their beloved shopkeeper, their dear friend and beloved shopkeeper name. This assault was but the latest in a... rather than that, let's move this up to the front. A devilish assault, comma, but the latest in a string of attacks against the principality of name has left has resulted in dozens of innocents captured and taken, or rather than captured, taken from their homes into the depths of hell, or of the hells. Our heroes venture forth, rather than the hells, of the 9 hells, gotta capitalize it. Our venture forth in pursuit of a raiding party of devilish insurgents. Rather than devilish assault, I'll say an infernal, because I don't want to reuse the same word over and over. An infernal assault, but the latest in the string of name, has resulted in dozens of innocents being captured and taken from their homes. I'm going with captured again. And taken from their homes. Back to the depth of the 9 hells. Our heroes venture forth in pursuit of a raiding party of devil insurgents who have their dear and beloved shopkeeper, their dear friend and beloved shopkeeper name. Can our heroes catch these fiends and rescue name before it is too late, or is all truly lost. So I like this. It's nice, it's straightforward, it's clean. I don't actually need the semicolon there. Nice and simple. I have determined, I have no idea who the characters I'm playing with this week are. I don't know who, well, like, I don't even know what races and classes they're going with. I think there's, like, a rogue. That's all I really know. So I know nothing about their backstories or anything. But I have decided, because this is a one-shot adventure, that they're from this principality, whatever it is called, and that they have a beloved shopkeeper, whatever their name is. So, what do we think, guys? I'm looking for ideas. Who do we want to call this? Need to hunt down Jerry Virginia Galanodal. I don't know if this is the devil named Jeremy. The tyrant of writhing tentacles. Oh. Do they need... I don't know if we need a tyrant of writhing tentacles, but maybe, you know, that gives it a little bit interesting name before the devil's ritual completes. Or is all truly lost? For use in a ritual of untold evil. There we go. Very gimmicky. Yoshi the shopkeeper, he deals in wondrous tomes. We got a Helga, we got an Olga. It's all ogre. Oh no. All right. We're gonna say Shrek. Shrek? Is that what we're going for here? I love this idea, Wyvern, of the shopkeeper Shrek. And they're on their adventure to rescue Shrek. And what does Shrek sell? What is Shrek's kind of deal? I imagine he sells onions. Let's go with that. Shrek obviously sells onions and candles. Get out of my shop! And donkey meat. All right, we're in. And donkey meat. Absolutely. So we got Shrek. We got the principality. Oh, so we got nearby. So now we're making puns on far away and Shrek. So this is good. We're going to dumb places already. But I love this. This is part of what I love about this stuff. It adds a little comic relief and release to this otherwise like very intense combat. And maybe we can add Shrek to this adventure at the end, and we'll see what happens. Onions and onion paraphernalia. Oh, I love that. What is onion paraphernalia? Alright, onions, onion paraphernalia, candles, and donkey meat. I think we're good at this point. How do you spell paraphernalia? That's a good question, Jeremy. Yeah, I guess that was it. Oh, there's an R. I missed an R. My bad. Cool. So we got Shrek is captured by the devils, and you can see that the adventure description now showed us up on the screen. I really like having it on the screen somewhere nice and simple, so that if you're just joining in on the show when we're playing or we're building this, you can look at it and say like, all right, I see what's going on. So I don't know why the hell they need Shrek for their infernal ritual, but they definitely do. So I think I'm gonna move this ritual thing. 9 hells for use in a ritual of untold evil. There we go. So we've moved the unknown evil back to kind of the top. So it's not like that's like, yeah, they're capturing all those other people, but Shrek Shrek is part of this evil ritual. It's called Sad. Oh. See, the one issue that I do have with kind of this tension, right? This time kind of sensitive MacGuffin we've put in there where it's like, ah, yes, the time is against you. I'm really a little bit afraid that players are gonna like not want to stop and take a short rest and not die. Because in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, short rests are an hour long, which like in any time sensitive adventure, that's just stupid fucking long. In 4th edition, they were 15 minutes. So you could just take a short rest and heal up and regain whatever abilities you gained on a short rest. Super easy. You could do it all the time. And so even in time-sensitive adventures, just like, it's just 15 minutes. We're going to bandage our wounds so we don't die. In this adventure, they're going to need to take at least a short rest. And I'm very concerned they're not going to take it. Oh well! So let's, now that worry is out of the door, get out of my shop. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put, that was my bad Shrek voice. Holy shit. I can't believe I just did that. Ugh. Gonna put two P's and an E in this, because I think that is appropriate for Shrek when we're talking about shop. And under the full moon. Oh, that's a good idea. But how would they know that? You know, we'll have like, that's okay. So here's what we do. When these adventures, and I think this is, oh, Freinor, I didn't even see you here, my friend. Thank you for your subscription, my friend. Keeping it rolling, keeping the dough flowing. You know, Sheba's saying something excellent in chat right there. That the ritual will be completed under the blood moon or what have you, and that is pretty good. Like, that is an excellent way to release the tension a little bit. It's time sensitive, but it isn't that time sensitive. He got ogre napped, exactly. So what was I gonna do? My brain just kind of pooped out. Right, okay. So all of the adventures in Dungeon Delve, and most one-shots that you run, or anything that you do, really, in Dungeons & Dragons, is set up into a whole bunch of, hey, get out of here, Adrian! Get! You cheater! You're gonna learn about Shrek! You're not allowed to learn about Shrek! What was I saying? All adventures, anything you do in Dungeons & Dragons is built up and split apart into encounters. An encounter is like, I guess in its simplest form, an encounter is a complication that the party has to overcome. Those encounters could be combat, right? You run into enemies, you have to fight them. It could be a puzzle, they have to figure out the puzzle. It could be a social encounter, where they have to like talk their way through the guards, or even negotiate with the shopkeeper. That's an encounter. At least if it engages the whole player, all the players, it counts as an encounter. But basically, everything's made up of encounters. And when you're running one-shots, you need to kind of build your encounters with the idea of, all right, I have my first encounter. This is how I start off. So when I'm doing these 3-hour one-shots here, in Dungeon Delve, I think first encounter, that's going to take as long as it's going to take. Second encounter, I kind of want to make the second encounter malleable so that I can make it a lot shorter or a lot longer, depending on the kind of time that I have left after the first encounter. Because our third encounter, we want plenty of time left for our grand finale, which is supposed to be kind of the pinnacle, right? That's what you want. You want the ending to be dramatic and intense. And so when I'm planning these 3-hour one-shots, I plan an hour, maybe for the first encounter, half an hour for the second encounter, maybe 45 minutes, and then an hour to an hour and a half for the third encounter. And that's pretty much how I roll it, or I try to roll it. In Delves, I have more flexibility as I can go up to 4 hours, which is pretty good in terms of like a dungeon crawl, one shot. but that's just the thing to kind of consider as you're playing. Second encounter is a rock pushing puzzle. No, the second encounter is not a rock pushing puzzle, unfortunately. So let's start talking through the encounters that show up here in the Smoldering Flames of War. So this PDF that I have open here is actually from the 4th edition book, DnDTime Delves. It's available on the Dungeon Masters Guild. If you just, jump on Google or your favorite search engine and do Dungeon Masters Guild, Dungeon Delve, it will come right up. I think it's like $10. And like I said, it is 30 one-shot adventures. They're pretty nice. They aren't the best thing in the world, but they're pretty all right. Especially as like starting points or as things you just want to toss in. This particular dungeon is very good. So before we dive all the way in, how did I decide that this was level 14 adventure? It says very clearly 22 right here, which that would mean in 4th edition this was level 22. And the way I did that is I took the level in 4e, which is 22. I divided it by 2, so 11, and I added 3 to it. How did I come up with this formula? I figured it out. I just kind of bumbled it together, and it mostly works. And it's all of the encounters in 4th edition between levels 3 and 18, which is right where I want them, because I don't want any level 1 one-shots here. I think level 1's a little too vulnerable for like a dungeon, and I don't want to run anything at level like 19 or 20, because at that point it's just like characters are so bullshit OP at that point. I don't even want to run stuff at level 18, to be frank. But whatever. Do what you gotta do sometimes. So D-Frog saying, go old school, chain pull between 2 to 3 options. One is right, one is snakes. The optional is lasers. Yeah, exactly. Banashee was saying, perfect example of why those ultra high levels are bad, or are rough or weird to play with in one-shot adventures, is because you have spells like Wish, which the point of the spell Wish is you can do anything with it. You could say, I wish we complete the adventure, and the adventure's over. In a long-term campaign, there are horrific repercussions to such an absolutely abstruse and abstract wish that, like, can cataclysmically damage and destroy the world. But in one-shots, that doesn't, like, work, because there's no repercussion, because it's a one-shot, and it's over. So, in my opinion, one-shots that get that kind of 9th level spell kind of tier are just not... They aren't my cup of tea. They can be done, and they can be done really well and be a lot of fun, but they're just not something that I want to run on the daily. So anyway, let's dive right into the Smoldering Flames of War. We read our adventure description. We got our adventure hook. You can see it on the screen. Let's dive into our first encounter. They call it the Hall of Sentinels. All right, cool. So first thing, I have my little notepad open. I love Notepad. I use it for all the different stuff I do. I think I can actually zoom in on it, maybe. Wop, 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 wop. So you can actually probably read Notepad for the first time ever. Passel 12 is when characters get broken. Adrian says in chat. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Things start to break once you get to high levels. But things get too, like, overpowered and the game doesn't function are 2 different levels of broken. And I think the game stops functioning with 9th level spells. It just doesn't work. I don't know. Adrian's just here. Whatever, man. It's all good. I'm sure Adrian's not gonna cheat. Adrian's playing a I would say non-optimal, non-broken overpowered character this week. I think. We'll find out. Maybe it's broken overpowered. Anyway, so all these dungeon delves start with the setup. They'll show you the monsters that are gonna be used. In this case, some number of Legion Devil Legionaries. Okay, you gotta use the word Legion more than once there. Wizards of the Coast, shrug emoji. And some number of War Devils. Interesting that there's a variable number. We'll get to that once we start. Because that's actually kind of cool. And the setup. Player characters have traveled to 9 hells, blah, blah, blah. They've located the entrance to a subterranean outpost where foes dwell. So, party reaches subterranean outpost in Avernus. So here's the big issue. They don't say anything about the Nine Hells in this adventure, so I'm going to decide that this is in Avernus, the kind of war-torn, one of the more war-torn areas of the Nine Hells. It's the first level of Baator, or the Nine Hells, and yeah, basically it's where most of the fighting takes place. Scorched earth and fire-red skies, it's Avernus. Kind of like a big wasteland, desert, war-torn area. So we're going to say in Avernus. Cool. So they enter in, and blah, 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 and it gives some text. And it says, when the characters enter the room, read the following. So it gives you some text to read to describe the area. It's actually pretty good, usually, in 480. In 5e, I find this to be hit or miss, but they say, moving past a hallway filled with pillars carved in the likeness of warriors in infernal armor. You come to a large room where skeletons litter the floor. A hellish red light from 2 large braziers flood the high-ceilinged room. A set of stairs ascend at the far end of the room. At the top of the stairs, you see a winged brute hefting a trident and grinning at you. Beyond it, you glimpse a pair of closed doors. This is some great, simple flavor text. I might describe the room as kind of dilapidated. I might describe it kind of as damaged or broken, as if recently besieged. But it's good. Like, just good, simple text. You're entering some sort of fortress, and there are cool statues. So here is our first chamber. It's just right here. I've already put the map here on Roll20. And you can see these circles here are where the statues are going to be. Cool. Statues are neat. These are where the pillars are supposed to be. These are cutouts here, so we won't be able to see behind them. And here are our big braziers, and the area up here where our winged devilish creature is going to stand. Cool. Or with a trident, rather. So let's scroll over to the next area. And again, we're going to keep in mind our devils as we go. Arcana check. Oh, okay. So, I can't wait to have the room described to you. Arcana check. So here's where it tells you some of the information players might be able to define or figure out about the room just by doing some basic kind of looking around or inspection. And it says it gives you a DC, which in 4th edition this was useful. In 5th edition this is totally useless to us. So it gives you the DC and what you find out. The braziers, something unusual about you sense something unusual about the 2 braziers. Okay, whatever. I think I can just say the braziers burn with unnatural hellfire. So I'm gonna go back to my notepad and say, the braziers burn with unnatural hellfire. I like that. It's nice and simple, nice and straightforward. And I don't think there needs to be a check to see, like, oh, that fire's all fucked up. Like, you know a campfire, you know a brazier, you're an adventurer, you're a level 14 adventurer, you're familiar with this stuff. I don't think there needs to be a DC to notice, oh, hey, there's, like, black flames in there. And then perception check, you hear movement from behind 2 large pillars near the entrance to the room. So, perception, DC question mark, near the entrance to the room. So, cool. Simple perception check. We'll figure out the DC later. In 5th edition, there's a set of very simple DCs based on the level. So, basically, if your DC is easy, your DC is like 13. Medium is like 15, hard is, or actually I think easy is 10, or 11 is easy, medium is 13, hard is 15, very hard is 17, stuff like that. Alternatively, you can have the devils roll like stealth checks or what have you. So I think I'm going to put this one at like a 17. They're like smart, they're clever, they're good at this. experienced at defending, a very hard DC is probably appropriate, especially for a high-level adventure. These DCs also approximately fit to character levels. And then you can go to, like, even higher points based on how strong they are. So, like, it goes up by 5 per challenge. All right, there we go. Adrian's got the actual deets on how they tell you it's supposed to work. So really, this should be like, I don't know, if it starts at 10 at easy and goes up by 5, it should be at 25. That's absurdly high. I don't think they're quite that good, but we'll say the whatever, somewhere like it. So put like maybe 20 there instead. They're pretty good, but they're not like impossible. Someone with a high perception will notice them, like a cleric, probably. Anyway, tactics. This book gives a list of tactics that we can mostly ignore. These tactics are based on 4th edition, which was an incredibly tactical system. So we're going to ignore the tactics for now. We're going to scroll out and move down to the next page. We get stats for our War Devil and our Legion Devils. We'll come back to these later when we're putting the monsters into Roll20. But for now, we look at the features of the area. Again, we got a nice little picture of our map down here. The little entrance area. They get up into here. There's the pillars and oh, look. Oh, the Devil's Hide. Shocker. Features of the area. Braziers give off an eerie red light. Cool. With an eerie and unnatural hellfire. Cool. Ceiling is 20 feet high. I never care about the ceiling height. I mean, like, sometimes I do, but usually it's just like, if the players have a cool thing they want to do with the ceiling height, usually I'll roll with that, right? And a lot of the times, like, if there's like a dragon, all right, it's going to be a high ceiling. A dragon's smart. It can fly. It's going to pick a layer that it can fly in. It's not stupid. In this case, the devil can fly, so 20 feet makes sense, and it can fly up and use that a little bit. But, you know, if the players have some, like, cool thing, you know, we can roll with that. Pillars occupy the squares, provide cover, whatever. The braziers are affixed to stone pedestals. Right, here we go. Here's the key. Braziers. So, Switch, if you don't want spoilers, you probably should bounce out, because we're gonna go right into the actual thing at this point. I'm gonna get my drink of water, because I'm a little parched. So yeah, braziers. 2 braziers affixed to the pedestals, and we can go ahead and look at them. Let me... Shoop. We can see the braziers down here. Each time a Legion Devil is slain, a new one appears in each brazier, and the War Devil can spend a healing surge as a free action. Each restores 63 hit points. Radical. I am just gonna go back here. I'm gonna select that text. We're gonna paste it. So I think this last part, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to, like, this is weird to me, I think. I'm saying brazier, so maybe it's brazier or brazier. I don't know. I call them braziers. This is a brazier. That's what it is, right? Brazier. Right? Am I dumb? Brazier? Holy shit! I'm totally wrong. Brazier. Well, oh well. Guys, I've always been wrong about braziers. Shrug emoji. Anyway, it spawns devils, and it heals the big devil. So, what this really shows is, brazier. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. The braziers will spawn monsters. So, it's interesting here, right? Because when a Legion Devil dies, the big devil gets healed, and a new Legion Devil comes up. So, the strat, I think, is to just kill Legion Devils and not fight the big guy at all. because he's going to heal up every time one of the little ones dies. So you want to get all these charges out of the way first. It looks like it can go 3 times, so cool. Each time a ward... oh, shit, it respawns the War Devils? Oh, God. Oh, wow, okay. So this also says that new War Devils can come out. Maybe not. We'll think about that, but I'm not, like, super into that. I like the idea of there being the commander and the reinforcements. Especially if these reinforcements aren't going to be minions. So, minions were a mechanic in 4th edition D&D that I love and I use in 5e because it works really well. I don't know why the fuck they got rid of it. That was stupid, because minions are a lot of fun. For players, especially, because they get to kill a lot of enemies. So, War Devil has a bunch of hit points, and yeah, I see, the Devil Legionaries are supposed to be minions. They only have 1 HP. I'm going to give them actual health. I'm going to make them actual enemies, because in this case, I think it'll be more interesting, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I'll make them minions. We'll see. So, I'm going to write that. Well, we'll figure that out when we get to making it. But anyway, so cool. That's the big gimmick here, is these braziers. Holy crap, I can't believe I always said that wrong. Spawn monsters. So let's jump in. We'll zoom out. Oh. And, oh, what the hell? Oh, there we go. Holding the wrong button. Interesting. There's more stuff in this room. Back here, there's like a thing. I don't know what this is. The book doesn't tell me what this is. So I think... Maybe this is a vessel that contains like some sort of dark green liquid that can be used to douse the braziers. Vessel with dark green liquid can douse brazier. And this gives like ways that players can extinguish the braziers in the book. It tells you can make a thievery or arcana check to blah 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 blah. Holy fuck, that's so lame. I roll my d20. Do I win? Like, I want players to think a little bit. A vase of demon bane. Well, these are not demons; they're devils. Big difference. But anyway, I want it to be a little more engaging. So maybe arcana check on the braziers informs players. So the braziers DC like 15. I might even like lower that in play. Needs to be doused with special arcane solvents. Alright, that's like a dumb thing. Solvent is a chemistry word. Whatever. I'm fine with that. Cool. So in this case, we're good with Adventure 1 or Encounter 1. They approach. It sounds like the devils don't immediately attack, but kind of wait for the players to come in to spring their ambush. And yeah, radical. So let's scroll down to Encounter 2. Encounter 2 is called The Well of Time. And I've looked at this one a little bit. It's pretty cool. So make some space. The Well of Time. Let's scroll back in so y'all can actually see what's going on. Encounter level 23. This doesn't matter for our case at all. We got 3 Ice Devils. So Ice Devils, Cambion Soul Conflagrants. Interesting name. And an Entropic Collapse Hazard. That could be a lot of fun. We'll see that. Setup. This chamber contains a rift in time and space that plays with perceptions and emotions and reacts poorly to the presence of magic. Radical. Fucking love that. I love spacey, timey-wimey, manipulate-y kind of stuff's weird. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's look. When the players open the door, read. In the center of this regularly shaped room sits an ancient gem-studded well. So, ancient gem-studded well. Strange glyphs mark the floor around the well. Dimly glowing mist fills one corner of the room, and in another lies a pile of bones. Along a narrow crevice, a staircase leads up and out of the room. Several devils bar your passage. So, on entrance to room, I'm adding this here because I really want to have this, and that is space and time are warbly. Warbly is definitely not an appropriate word for that, and how are we going to show that? I think my favorite way of doing this, and this I have done a couple times in campaigns. I see Fraynor in chat, you're going to recognize this. As you enter, you feel a sudden wave of vertigo as you appear to as you stumble slightly. Just a wave of vertigo. A sudden wave of vertigo as you see ghostly illusions of yourself. Or not illusions. I don't want to use the word illusion because that has it's a loaded word in D&D. Ghastly images of yourself, but a few feet ahead of you, opening the doorway. As they step forward, they seem to jump back in surprise and shock. Ethereal, that's a good one too. Before suddenly the vertigo subsides and you find yourself in their place, staring into the room before you. I love this. Oh, there we go. Distorted ethereal images. I'm not gonna use visages because visage is specifically face. But this kind of whoa, and then you are there. I like this because it immediately foreshadows there is some space-time fuckery going on here. For the well, it's going to be extremely ancient, obviously, and maybe magnificent is a great word to kind of put there. I like the idea that this well has been here way longer than the devils have been here. This is the birth of Baator, or the birth of the Nine Hells. So anyway, we see the narrow crevice, the staircase. We'll get this flavor text in there when we're actually on Roll20 and putting notes in for ourselves. Arcana check. A misty cloud looks relaxing. Okay, so let's scroll down and look at what this is. So they enter in here. They kind of wobble around, and then they're in the front. And they see a weird cloud in the corner, some bones in a corner, and a crevice in the middle. Okay, hello, obvious traps. Whatever. So, the first thing I'd want to kind of do here is if there's this mist, it looks relaxing. I don't think that's an Arcana check. I think if there's mist that looks relaxing, that's something that's calling out to you to a degree, right? You feel it. A shifting, androgynous, ethereal form shifts in, and what do we call that? A cloud of mist in the corner of the room. Or, sorry, a shifting mist. A shifting cloud of mist appears to coalesce into there we go, an androgynous ethereal form, or ethereal visage, calling to smiling as if beckoning you toward the relaxing, the calming and relaxing mists. So I like this idea of a face that's just it seems to almost form into like an image, right? Something that you see and you think like, oh boy. Have the room react to emotions, turn into shamanic tunnel from the Willy Wonka. The chill corner with the chill cloud. Yeah, I'm thinking it more like that, right? Because this actually does help you. It's interesting. It's got interesting effects when we actually get to that. And yeah, this is, I think, high perception DC, like 25. And it's just faint. Luminescent dust swirls around the gem-covered well. Cool. So, and yeah, obvious arcane interactions. So it obviously has some arcane interaction. You don't know what it is, but you see it. And then, of course, if like players roll really high Arcana DCs, maybe they'll let them know. But I don't think they're going to take the time to roll an Arcana DC in the middle of the fight. Because there are monsters in this room. Whoa! Shocker. It's devils. You're in a devil stronghold. There are devils. Anyway, more tactics. We don't care about the tactics. We see the Ice Devils to give the stats for it. Whatever, we'll worry about this later. We see Entropic Collapse. So this is something I'm interested in. Because this is a trap, and I think we can actually use a lot of this trap in our thing. And it's when a creature casts a spell or carries a magic item carries a magic item into an unadjacent room, it triggers a temporal unweaving of the strands of time. Although reality reasserts itself a few moments later, the damage to the psyches of those who have glimpsed beyond time takes longer to heal. The dust typically covers 10 contiguous squares in a room. Whatever, I don't care about that. I like the flavor of it, but I don't care about how big it is or anything. So some temporal unweaving damages your very psyche. Radical. It tells you how you can notice it. Cool. And then the trigger. A character carrying a magic item enters a square that contains the dust, or casts when a character in a square that contains the dust casts a spell. Okay. So what happens here is that's how you trigger it. So temporal collapse. Cast a spell or step into the area. Cast a spell from the area, or into the area, or step into the area while wearing magic items. They all have magic items. Heh. So that triggers a trap, and then what does it do? It attacks. Magic explosion. Burst 5, which a burst 5 is basically a 25-foot radius. I'm gonna make it like a 20-foot radius, like a fireball. From the player. Holy shit. So it has a plus 29 versus will. We call that a wisdom saving throw in 5th edition. Wisdom save. And that is a high DC. That's a DC, an attack 29. That's probably close to like a DC 19. Maybe like a DC 21. That's very high. It does a bunch of psychic damage, and so we'll say it does like... Actually, we'll just give it the same damage. 5d6. I'm not going to do plus 8, so instead I'm just going to do like 5d8 psychic damage. Or I'm going to give 5d6. I like 5d6. Like, dangerous. You don't want to fucking do it, but not too bad. Or maybe you do want to do it because you trigger it and attack the enemies, which would be cool. And daze, we're going to ignore the daze. Daze is a status condition in 4th edition D&D, which sucks. Status effects on player characters are no fun because it means you don't do anything. But, you know what doesn't suck quite as hard? Slowed like slow spell. That means one attack, so one action, only one attack per turn, no bonus, no reaction. Ends at end of turn. So this is like, it's just the temporal unweaving slows you psychically and mentally. I like that. And of course, that doesn't happen on a successful save. So nice, simple, and I think that'll definitely hit that temporal vibe. Honestly, I kind of want to get rid of this stupid mist in the corner, because if we now scroll over, so we zoom out, and we go down to the next tab, which we got stats of the Cambions, we'll worry about those later. We go to the features of the area, and we actually look at the mist. It's called Mist of Bliss. These wispy clouds belched forth by the well of time. It has a relaxing effect. Bonus, like, that's all. It just makes you happy. Whatever. That's the kind of thing that I don't think we need in this adventure necessarily, but it's there on the map, so it'll just be there for now. Maybe I will actually edit the map and cut that out before we run this, but I don't like the mist right now. I don't know. So actually, I think I'm gonna actually go back where I say mist, an attractive androgynous ethereal visage. There we go. We've made this a little spicier. Where are we now? What am I'm doing? I got distracted. I think the mist is just steam. Yeah, exactly, right? Nerds is just kind of like, it's just a thing. I don't know. We'll get back to the dope cloud at some point. So, temporal collapse, magic explosion. There's so much going on in this room, too, that I don't know if we need that. So let's look at the features. Dimly lit, whatever. Oh, I guess the mist is the light. Okay, cool. I dig that. Ceiling, 20 feet high, whatever. Well of time in the middle of the room, blah, blah, blah. What happens? So, if you walk onto any of these squares with the water, those are our entropic dust squares, the whole explosion happens that we just went over the trap. And what else? Any creature who enters the Well of Time disappears. And so basically it's like the maze spell. I'm gonna make a note for myself. Entering Well of Time equals maze spell. Reappear on bones. Maybe gain short rest benefits? That'd be fun. Oh, and this super handles my short rest problem. Oh, my concern that they wouldn't take a short rest, that could be good. That could be great. We're going to consider this. Thank you, Well of Time. All right. If not, I think what I'll do is I'll just have enough time have passed in the Well of, in this chamber, that they'll have gained the benefits of a short rest, even if they don't take one. Because we really gotta, move things along. Cool, so we got the Well of Time, blah, blah, blah. Blood red rubies, cool, there's some cool flavor. Chill Corner grants the Ice Devil's advantage to attack. Now this is more like he's cool. It's a cool cloud. Not cool is still cold. Chill, cool. It's a bro cloud. There we go. This cloud's broing out. Anyway, glyphs, praising the Lord and okay, I don't even know. I think these glyphs are supposed to be these symbols on the sides here, but man, there's so much shit going on. I'm not doing these glyphs. Just not gonna do it. They're supposed to be glyph traps that when you step on it, maims you. We're not doing it. Pile of bones, that's where you would reappear. It's in this corner here. And it says, in the southwest corner, difficult terrain. I've rotated the map a little bit, so it's not the southwest corner. There's Potion of Recovery, and that's where you appear after the trap. So, great. Let's have there be other stuff there. In the pile of bones, magic items. So this is where old adventurers have died. So maybe there's a Vorpal sword, maybe. Maybe there's a potion of supreme healing. Potions of supreme healing. Maybe there is a Sword of Three Wishes. How about we don't have the Sword of Three Wishes, Sheba? I'm looking at you, Sheba. Don't you do that to me. I don't know. What else? What are other cool magic items that aren't the Sword of Three Wishes? I'm trying to think. I know we got a rogue, so maybe like dagger of teleportation, which I just made up right now. But cast Misty Step at will. That's pretty radical. And I mean, I say I made it up. Like, let's be real. If everyone's thought of, it's a dagger I throw and I teleport to it. Like, that's such a common trope. And of course, absolutely a 10-foot telescopic pole. Oh, and of course, everyone's favorite, an old man who is just barely not dead. Gotcha. Cool. So we got the old man, the 2 coffins. Yeah, all right, whatever. We ignore these. Oh, Shiva. I mean, I just knew you've been here the whole time, but you haven't mentioned the old man. He's got to be there. That's where we'll put him. We'll get a token for him later. Coffins, they're just coffins. I don't even know why they're there. It doesn't make any sense to me that those are there, but they are. I guess maybe it has to do with the Well of Time or something. I don't know. Maybe that's it, right? Maybe when you come out of the maze in the Well of Time, you appear in one of the coffins. Oh, I dig that. On exit, appear in one of the coffins. I dig that. All right, this is actually cool now. The Wand of Brotheldor. No, we're not doing the Wand of Brotheldor. Maybe somewhere else, in a different game, in a different world, but not here. And the crevasse, the coolest feature of this this area. The crevasse is 50 foot deep, and it's actually 20 feet wide. Not incredibly thin as it appears. Woobly time bullshit. That's my note for myself. Is the woobly time bullshit. So because woobly space time. So because of all the space time distortion, this crevice only looks like it's a few, maybe like a foot across. It's actually 20 feet wide. So character might try and jump it and then fall. So I'm gonna actually put another. Appears 2 feet wide. Actually 20 feet wide. Flying creature within fish moon to cross falls. Jump to cross. Spatial disturbance. Unaffected. Alright, so that's basically it. It's just cool. Players might notice that it's longer when they're attacking creatures on the other side, like the Cambion, range monster, and it's just like not hitting. It's just not even coming close. So that could be cool. And those are going to be really fun features. This is a really cool room. So really, I think I want this first room to be a little quick, and then the second room to be a little more spicy. A little more interesting. Maybe spend half hour, 45 minutes on the intro, and then like an hour and a half on this middle room, and then an hour and a half on the final room. We'll see. This could be really cool, though. So let's zoom out and head on to number 3. Let's scroll down and get into here. The Gallery of Souls. Spicy. Good name. Oops. Oh, God, I'm doing bad. I'm zooming out. I'm wrong, guys. All right, we're good. So they head up. They enter into this place. It's cool looking. And let's figure out what the fuck's here. So deliciously evil. I agree with you, Bionic Shiva. It is deliciously evil. Anyway, so let's zoom in again. And it'll tell you the monsters that we start with. Devil Legionnaires. Cool, cool. A Dragonborn Champion. Why the fuck is there a Dragonborn Champion here in the Hells? I don't know. Is this Archon the Cruel? I don't know what this is, but I don't think I'm gonna put a Dragonborn Champion here. And a Pit Fiend. Radical. Oh, wait. Hold up. Just the Pit Fiend. Uh-oh. This is why I want to make sure they take that short rest, because otherwise they're about to fucking die as the Pit Fiend annihilates them. And of course, there's Shrek. Shrek's got to be in here, guys. I got to rescue Shrek. We got a setup here. It's just like, you have to fight all the monsters. Okay, I get it. When the PCs enter the room, read. A large, headless serpentine skeleton lies before you. Beyond it, a glowing red symbol is inscribed in the floor. Further into the room is a dais, upon which, or maybe it's a dais, upon which sits a metal table stained with blood. Alcoves along the walls and a red vase sits upon each. Oh, alcoves line the walls and a red vase sits upon each. A mighty winged devil stands between the symbol and the table, flames licking from its mace. Many smaller armored devils stand about the room, ready for battle. Uh-oh. So, hot damn. So, things to notice. An alcove in the far corner holds a skull. Right there. Oh, wow, what do you know? That skull goes to that dragon. Or that skeleton. That could be an interesting mechanic. The sound of a sword being drawn warns you of a hidden foe. That's relating to the Dragonborn, which we're not going to include because that's stupid. We've replaced the Dragonborn with Shrek, who's much cooler. Tactics, we don't care about. The actual stats, we don't care about right now, but it looks like we got a bunch of minions and a pit fiend, which is going to be nice and simple and horrifying. Features. Magic circle glows with hellish red light. So there's our magic circle right there. That's going to be our light source. Coolio. That's what I thought when they killed the Demi-Lich in one turn. You're right, but a pit fiend is really scary, is the difference with that one. Demi-Liches, like, actually kind of suck. They rely entirely on, and Liches are the same way. They're not powerful, but the idea is they're intelligent creatures and that they have, like, a lair and they have minions and they have stuff preset. Like a Lich might have an orb of invulnerability already set up when the players arrive and stuff like that. The Demi-Lich just screams and, like, hopefully that kills half the players straight up. But anywho. Oh boy, oh, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, everything just freaked out here. So let's zoom in a little and look down. Twitching skeleton. The snake skeleton is a magic construct that covers the area outlined in red. Well, I got rid of the outlines in red because I don't want the players to see red outlines indicating a trap. That's stupid. Blah, 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 blah. When any non-devil enters the area, the skeleton twitches wildly, turning the area into difficult terrain. Okay. Until, well, no non-devils remain in it. Any non-devil in the area is attacked by the skeleton and is just knocked prone. Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, that's just like a weird trap. So, what did we call this? The gallery. Gallery of souls. Red vases. I'm gonna add something to red vases. Appear to have ghastly screams distantly echoing from them. So, cool. I like that. I like this idea. We've added some flavor here. These vases contain the souls of the dead. Of the damned, rather. The skeleton. Obvious trap. Attacks violently. Rise violently and attacks. So this is where I'm actually going to put an attack roll, or attacks. Dex save DC 15. I think an easy DC for that, for this one, and it does, I think, a ton of damage though because it's an easy DC. So we're gonna give it like not 4d10. We're gonna give it like 6d10 bludgeoning. Cool, nice and simple, basic trap, and maybe speaks into your mind. Release me from these infernal chains. Cool. So maybe, and actually, obvious trap is chained to floor. So I've decided that it's now chained to the floor, and it just wants to be freed. Maybe it says, instead of release me, restore me and free me from these infernal chains. And so maybe, if they do that, they bring the skull back to the creature, it will come to life and help them. So now we have a backup plan for if this is not the Byoshi isn't dead. Byoshi survived. Maybe this is like Byosho, the Byoshi's like nephew or something. Anyway, restore me and free me from these infernal chains. I have dig this. It's just rad. It gives them the option to like maybe make an ally through a dangerous gambit that they don't know more about. But it becomes obvious. Alcoves, 12 alcoves. Each holds one holds a skull. Those contain platinum. They have a soul trapped in the vase. Oh wow! Hey, look, it's already done that. Oh, brutal. Contains platinum. Oh, okay, everything got weird. That creature received in exchange for its soul. Hot damn. Brutal. Inscribed with. Alright. This is sick. I dig this a lot. Bones of Benny the Bronze. Oh, it's just a sad bronze dragon. Okay, we'll put that on there. Benny the Bronze. Just a sad little bronze dragon. So I'll put the bronze dragon stats in later when we actually are building this. Or actually probably after, because no one wants to sit and watch me just type in stats, because that sucks. If coins are taken with the soul being freed, the base is destroyed. Oh, whoa. What the fuck? Okay, this is just dumb. We'll worry about that later. I think, like, they just can't free the souls. Like, the souls just are screwed. Like, if they complete the combat encounter, maybe they can recover the vases, and there's, like, a ritual that can be performed after the adventure, right? As kind of the epilogue, where they can free the souls from the vases. But for now, they're just kind of, they're screwed. So, let's talk about the symbol of Asmodeus, or Asmodeus, or whatever you want to call him. Magic circle. Radical. So this ties into another trap, which I super dig. Radical. Table of Blood. This is also radical. So, if they stand in the circle of Asmodeus and they're hit by an attack, they're teleported onto the Table of Blood. And I think this Table of Blood, Shrek is currently on the Table of Blood. And let's see, Table of Blood. Any player character who moves or is teleported onto this table is attacked. Wisdom save, DC 21, about as high as you can go. And then it's on a fail. On a fail, target is knocked prone and restrained to table as it begins to drain players' blood. Or life force, rather. So there are a whole bunch of ways we could roll with this. One way is we could have it do damage, like it suggests in the book, at 15 damage per round. Okay, that's a way to do it. Another way, Flannel Pug, you were here at the beginning, but you fell asleep now. It's okay, it's all good, dude. Don't even worry about it. What was I saying? Right, so we could have it do damage, like it says. Damage is, like, okay, but I find that a little, I don't know. We could have it, like, do exhaustion, but I don't like exhaustion. It could be a summoning meter. It could be, one of the things I've experimented with in the past, and it's worked very well, is it could just give you failed death saving throws. Which is, like, that's intense. At that point, players are like, oh my god! when you're conscious and you're taking death saving throws. I spelled rise incorrectly here. A dable. It's a table. I think at this point it's just going to do damage. Does like, we'll do like 3. Let's do 5d6 damage per turn. There's no save on that. And escape DC. I think the CC is pretty hard. 15. Cool. Yeah, I liked it too, D-Frog. It's a freaking scary mechanic. If you use it very, very rarely, and don't be like a dick about it, but you know, for like a boss that's like Orcus, right, God of Undeath, or something like that, giving them an ability that can just give you a failed death save is horrifying, especially if the death save doesn't like go away. I see. Here's the great thing about being damaged, though: is Shrek is an ogre, or realistically in D&D, he's a troll, so he regenerates. So we're good. That's why he's still alive. And of course, Shrek will help if rescued. And it says that there's a magic item hidden in the table. Yeah, fuck that. That's dumb. Ah, I screwed up. All right, so we zoom out, and we're done. Next page is a new delve. So we have gone through, at this point, the entire book. We've figured out, or not the whole book, but you know what I mean. All of the stuff pertaining to this dungeon. It's taken, what, an hour and 20 minutes? Hour and 15, really. And we figured out everything we need to do for this dungeon. We have all of our notes here. We have our adventure hook, our kind of reason the players are adventuring. And the last thing we need to do is figure out the monsters. It's interesting. When you're coming with an adventure, the last thing, I think at least, that you do is come up with the monsters. Unless you have like a particular monster that the adventure is all about. That's kind of the deal. So I'm going to minimize or I'm going to move this over here. And in here, I'm going to scroll back up to the beginning of Smoldering Flames of War. And we're going to look at our Roll20. So here, in Roll20, some very important beginning commands. If you hold Control and use your scroll wheel, you scroll up and down. Hold Shift and use your scroll wheel on your mouse, you go left to right. Alt, scroll wheel is in and out. Very useful rules, or shortcuts, basically. So we start with the first encounter here, and the first thing I want to do is I want to set up my dynamic lighting. So I use dynamic lighting. It is a feature you get for a subscription to Roll20. It's like $50 a year, I think. And that's really the only meaningful thing you get out of that subscription. Unless you play a lot of different games on Roll20 with a lot of similar characters. So if you think this is worthwhile for you, check mark. Otherwise, you can use the Fog of War setting, which you would just need to kind of... there's plenty of stuff on YouTube or anything to show you that. But I'm going to show you Roll20 dynamic lighting for now. I go to the dynamic lighting layer. I pick my polygon line tool. And I pick a bright color. In this case, I'm going to go with yellow. I pick a bright color because I know I'll be able to see a bright color. I go large because I can see large a little better. I'm going to click, and I'm going to hold Shift. And when you're on the line tool and you're holding Shift, it clips lines to hold precisely 2 squares. So I'm just making a very simple box around everything. So here you can see, if I, whoopsies, I held the Windows key instead of Alt. If I zoom in, we can see that this doesn't quite go an entire square. So I'm going to just click manually here. And we're going to go back down to there. And manually click. And then I'm going to go back to hold Shift and Shift. We're going to zoom way back out again because we can just do that. Holding Shift the whole time. We can see down here. Oh. We're going to need to do that again. So again, we zoom all the way in. You zoom all the way in to make sure you get it like good. You get it right. Now, you don't have to be as precise as I'm being for this. I am just kind of OCD about it. And it's okay if you overlap the tiles a teeny bit. And we're going back to holding Shift now that we're on nice square areas. Whap, 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 whap. And again, just holding shift. You can see I didn't bother to go in all of those little alcoves. It just takes a lot of time. And I don't think it really, in this case, gained a lot. Especially, like, if there was more mechanic to them in this adventure, that would be something. But in this case, they're just holding vases with souls. So we don't worry too much about that. So we, once again, zoom way in for this kind of half piece. And then, oh, I zoomed way out like a bad. And where did everything go? Oh, there we go. Oop. And back to holding shift now that we're on an even area. I keep doing this, guys. I'm being real bad. I'm zooming out too far is what I'm doing. And again, holding shift again to clip the borders. Way in. And holding shift to clip perfectly. Now, you don't have to be quite as particular as I'm being with this, but you can if you want. I like dynamic lighting. I think it really adds a lot to the game. I think it's a lot of fun for players to play around with. And yeah. So as you can see, I just went around the whole dungeon, and I overlapped at the end, and then you right-click to end your line. You can see it all set in, and we can see the grid over it now. So that sets up the basic dynamic lighting. This makes it so that when players are in the game, they can't accidentally bump outside of the dynamic lighting layer, which is very helpful. So the next thing, I have these pillars. Again, I'm holding shift and just making a perfect little box. Boop, nice and simple. Same thing going on here, holding shift to start, and just kind of holding shift through, and we got a second nice little box. Our next, so that will block all this lighting coming through here, so the devils can actually hide behind it like they're supposed to. We zoom in a little more, and we're at these pillars. These pillars look like they're going to be hard. I need to draw big circles. And at first temptation, you want to go to like the draw tool and do a circle. But actually, what works super well is if you just switch to like a thin line and just draw an X, it will work perfectly. And you'll see that once we turn on the dynamic lighting and really take a peek at it. You can see over here I've overflowed a teeny bit, and that is perfectly fine. And you can see my little X's are not like, or plus signs rather, are not perfect. Some of them are like from side to side, some of them don't fully go across, and that is perfectly fine. It will look great nonetheless. And I'm hoping players will use these as kind of cover right when they're trying to sneak up and approach here. And that will maybe give some more merit to, like, I don't know, they're actually peeking out from around the pillar, and they see what their character sees peeking out, and that's just cool. Let's scroll down. Is there any other dynamic lighting we need? Looks like there's nothing else that really would block anything. I think like this dais is big enough that like I can do a little line there. Nope. Here's an issue right now that I have. I'm gonna undo, and that is I used a thin line, so I had a very hard time being able to select it even with the select tool. So make it a large line. Try to use large lines when you can. So there are a couple little more tidbits to look at. I could go in and make like a hard line here on the doors, cut in this corners, but I don't think it's actually worth it now that like I've experimented a little bit. But we do want the door to block line of sight. So we're going to go, again, large line. We're going to make it a different color. I'm going to pick, in this case, teal. Something I recognize that will stand out. And I'm going to just draw a line across. And I'm going to go back to that line. And I'm going to hold Alt so that it doesn't clip to anything. I'm going to move this line so it's just barely on the door, behind the door where the players will coming from. So the players come from here and they can see, oh, there's a door, but they can't see past it. And there's a second door up here. And we're going to do the same exact thing. Again, I'm holding Shift at first to make it a very nice, neat line. And then I'm going to hold Alt, and boom. Perfect. So those two now will block light, and when we want to open the doors, we can just select them and press the right arrow key twice, and boom, you're all set. Really simple and easy. Dynamic lighting is not as hard as it might seem. It's actually quite simple. So let's talk about sources of light. We're going to go over here to the Art Library tab on the top right. And I don't have any torches in here, so I'm going to search torch. And, oh, god damn it. Cool. And we got a torch. So we're going to double click on that torch. We're going to go to advanced. And we're going to say all players see light. So again, I double clicked on the torch icon I dragged on, went to the advanced tab and clicked all players see light. And then I made it a 40-20, which I'm pretty sure is a torch. 40 feet total light, 20 feet of bright light. And I'm going to hit start. Cool. And so that is a basic torch. Now, I want these braziers to be more than a basic torch. So I'm going to say that they are 60-30 instead of... So 60 feet of total light, 30 feet of dim. And I'm going to just drag this torch and drop it right on the brazier. Or, brazier. And here's the thing. Because it's on the dynamic lighting layer, players won't see a torch icon. They'll just see the light, which is awesome. So I'm going to copy the torch. We're going to paste it, which again, I'm just using Control C and Control V, or you can right-click copy, right-click paste. I'm learning. Exactly. And then we have our light over here. And we're going to hold Alt just to stick it in the middle from here. We don't want this light to be quite as bright as the brazier, so we're going to go 40-20, like a torch. Nice and simple, so that'll give off some light. And actually, it'll be mostly dark in this room. That'll be scary. And is there any light in the last room? Let's actually scroll down and see. Gallery of Souls, Illumination, the Magic Circle. Right, so we go to here, and we click paste. And we drag it in the middle of this magic circle with a snake, which is definitely Asmodeus. We're going to make it super bright, 80 and 40. So there's going to be bright light everywhere, I think, in this room. Right? Yeah, there's going to be bright light literally everywhere. And it'll actually go down the hallway a little, which could be cool. So, at that point, I think all of our dynamic lighting is just done. We're totally set. We can go to Objects and Tokens. And we're ready to finally start, I think. So we're going to turn on dynamic lighting, go to Toolbar, hit Page Settings, go down to Dynamic Lighting, toggle Enabled, Enforce Line of Sight, only update on drop, and restrict movement, and just leave it at that. And then I go to my background color, and I make it black, and hit OK. And now, you can see the light, and the light here, and you can see where it gets dim, which is pretty radical. So, I very much like this. Again, we don't see any torches, which is nice. And I think I actually want to go in and make the little line colors very dim, so they're very hard to see. Because our map has lines already, has grids. So, at this point, we're going to go back to our image library, and we're going to look at free assets and adventure, and we're going to stick the adventurer on. And we're going to click on that adventure. So again, we're clicking on his icon, going to advanced, and hitting has sight. So, and I'm clicking on him, I hit Control L, and oh my goodness, that's what he sees as he walks out. Adventurer, what do you see? Well, you don't see a lot. It seems like a lot of stuff is blocked by that light, or by those braziers. So, let's double click on him again, and let's say that he's got a torch. Oh, and now he sees everything. And again, I'm using Control and L. I click on the token and hit Control L, and that lets me look from its perspective. So this is going to be perfect. I think the devils will be able to really easily hide in this area and ambush them with the pillars. So that'll be nice. And then get back behind here, and oh look, there's a alcove, the devils are hiding, and all that cool stuff. So he goes up here, and we see all this stuff, and he gets, and you can see, holy moly, guys. Oops, gotta zoom in better. The door. And he can't see past it. Except I'm going to drag him past it. And we're going to click on him and look at what he can see. He enters in and oh, he sees a well and oh my goodness, me zooming in very poorly. That's what he sees. There we go. All right, and he sees the light over there. And all that good stuff. So actually, I realize I don't want this to be bright light. So I'm going to go to the dynamic lighting light. I'm going to double click on that torch. And I'm going to say it starts at 0. So you only have dim light from there. So we go back to objects and tokens, Control L, and you can see it only dimly illuminates, which I find a little more dramatic. And yeah, he explores, and my little adventure guy can see all the cool stuff, and he can see my door. Cool, we're going to drag him through the door, hit Control L, and already you can see, the bright light shining through. Whoops, see, Control L. Bright light shining through from the door beyond. And aha, it opens up, and you can see, I can see how you wouldn't be able to see a creature hiding in the corner, but yep, there's a dragon, and everything seems to be working great. This is pretty much exactly what I want. Oh, I made him gigantic. That's not what I wanted. But yeah, checks out behind there. Everything seems okay. Oh, Control L so that we can see what he can see, rather. Cool. Everything seems to be great. Working totally fine. So, radical. We're going to take this guy, and we're going to just stick him right here. We're going to put an X on him. We're going to double click on him. He does not have sight or give light because he's our maimed old man. Actually, rather than an X, I'm going to give him the skull and crossbones because he's dying. He's not dead. We're just going to throw him in here with the... there we go. He's just there with everyone else. With the skeletons. Radical. So, all of our dynamic lighting is set. We're ready to roll with that. For now, I'm going to toggle it off, just to make things a little easier to see. And let's start getting through the monsters. So, Shrek we'll deal with last, because Shrek is very important, and I don't have a token ready, or anything ready, for an ogre, because I was not expecting Shrek. Can I? Oh, man. I can't just Google Shrek here, or search Shrek, but that's fine. We'll get a Shrek. And Hall of Sentinels, party reaches blah blah blah, produce burn with unnatural hellfire. So here's where I'm going to start going. I'm going to go in the Dungeon Master layer, the GM info layer. And I'm going to go to this tool, text. I'm going to make white text because it stands out beautifully against the back wall. And I'm going to paste. And maybe make it a little bigger. And maybe make the text a font I can read. Oh. Alright. Sure. Let's try again. Text tool, Arial. Paste. Hey, there we go. And because this is in the GM layer, only I can see it. Nobody expects the Shrek Inquisition. You know, Nerds Table, I absolutely do not expect the Shrek Inquisition. Not even a little bit. So, it's a very fair point. And here I'm just typing in all of my notes. DC20 Perception, and this is on the GM later, so players will never be able to see this no matter what, which is great. And, like, this is great. It's just I'm going to put all my notes in. And actually, I'm going to edit my notes a little bit. I'm going to actually put hard spaces in there on line breaks so that it wraps correctly with the text tool. So I can actually, like, read everything right. And actually, we're going to have to do that here, too. That's fine, though, with perception. And paste. Haha. Fantabulous. Everything's great. And we're going to copy this last little bit. And one of the things you could absolutely do if you wanted, that flavor text that the book has, you could easily copy and paste the flavor text in here so you can just always see everything. And it's just all of your notes are right there next to you when you're playing, which super freaking helpful. But yeah, so we've got that in. We're going to go down to the Well of Time. And then we're going to go back through and put the monsters in last, because I think that might be some of the more interesting parts. So, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to just copy and paste my notes, as always. Entrance to the room. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and make just put in all of these line breaks so that it pastes correctly. And cool. Copy and paste. And yeah, this is just the best. So this is where we're like, we've done so much of our work already just by, as we were going through the adventure, just thinking about it. And there are a lot of notes for this page, which maybe means we want to cut some stuff down. At this point, if there's this much going on in what should be like the interim room that you would cut stuff from, that's dicey. That's where you want to like think about it, things a little more and be like, all right, is this what I want? Is this the adventure I want to run? And, the answer might be yes, but the answer also might not be yes. But anyway, for now, I'm just putting my notes in. A lot of these notes are things that, like, they're in there for me right now, but in the moment, who knows what I'll actually do. I am a very kind of freeform dungeon master. I will change things in the moment as I'm playing them based on what's going on. And Defrog, thank you for the offer of the transparent kind of templates, but for now I'm good. I can make those in Photoshop if I need them, but for now I'd just rather stick with what I know and with what I got. I'm not too concerned. I mean, the chill cloud's fine. It's just like I think there's enough going on with the map. The map is meant to be like a guide, not perfect. Gallery of Souls, gonna again just format everything so we can actually see everything when we paste it in. And yeah, I'm learning every time I do this, guys. Every time I'm getting a little better and a little better. And it's going to be good. So I think with these, I can just copy everything. And zoom out. And paste. Bada boom. All of my notes are here. Hurrah. And maybe I'd format them a little better if this were like a campaign or a longer term deal. But since I just made this today and I'm running it tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be fine. So, all of the notes are in. We're good to start looking at the monsters, finally. Scrolling up, Smoldering Flames of War. Our first deal is we have a War Devil. So let's get up to that first room. And some Legionaries. So, I don't know what the hell a War Devil is. It does not exist in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, because Dungeons & Dragons in 5e is a little more flavorful than a War Devil. Usually. I'm sure someone in chat can immediately point out a monster that's just like, I don't know, something just dumb like that, but off the top of my head, I can't come up with one. So, let me think. War Devil. It can fly. It was described as having a trident. That sounds similar to a Horned Devil. Horned Devil CR 11, which is a pretty acceptable challenge rating for this level. The Flumph. Flumphs aren't dumb, sheep. Well, they're dumb, but they're not like... They're not so rote like War Devil, right? I don't know. Just, it lacks life. Anyway, so we got our War Devil. He's got his pitchfork, his tail, he can hurl flame. I think Horned Devil is a pretty good shot here for what to use, at least for now. Maybe an Aranyes would be a cool kind of alternative. Aranyes being a little stronger at CR 12 and a little more menacing. So maybe, I think I want them to win this battle easily, so we jump into the second battle faster. So I think we jump with Horned Devil. And again, if you all have, oh, I made a mistake. You can see how this guy is kind of grayed out because I'm still on the GM info layer. I want to go to the tokens layer. But first I want to actually delete him off that layer. Because I think this Horned Devil can be seen. And it is right up on the stairs, and it probably backs off, right? And it can hide. if the players try and just like pepper it with fire. So, War Devil sounds more like an Aranyas. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's one of these higher order devils, like a Horn Devil or an Aranyas or something. We'll maybe come back to the Aranyas. Maybe we'll see. I think we'll see, because I'm concerned about using Ice Devils in the next room, because Ice Devils are actually very strong. But let's put the Horn Devil in for now. And because this is a pretty comparable thing, right? It's got a trident, which is similar to the fork. They do the same kind of deal, except this knocks people around and this just stabs people. And he's got his tail, which maims people. He's got a ranged attack. The one thing that's different is the War Devil has an ability called Besiege Foe. And it can mark a target to give the other devils an extra attack against it. Or not an extra attack, extra bonus to damage. Which is just cool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give him Besiege Foe. The Horned Devil picks a creature it can see within 60 feet. Other devils have advantage on attacks again against that creature until the end of the Horned Devil's next turn. And we're going to give that a recharge. And we're probably going to give that a recharge 5 to 6. So the way recharge works is at the beginning of the Horned Devil's turn, he can roll a d6 and see if he recharges his ability. And I like this as a recharge because A, this is super powerful. Advantage on an attack is actually a really big deal for all the other monsters. So that's a cool way of like making this guy more threatening, but not making him overpowered every turn. Next, we're going to use Devil. I don't like Devilish Transposition. Let's see. Yeah, let's put it on there. Transposition. The Horned Devil can magically swap places with another devil of its choice using its movement. Cool. So you can just swap spots. Nice and simple. And this says Fiendish Tactics. They can move and make attacks. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that. That's already kind of dealt with in Besiege Foe. So cool. We have our Horned Devil, nice and threatening, but not like too crazy. So we are going to rename this to Delve 22. And we got our Horned Devil, move him up to the front. So what next, beastie shall we fight? We need the Legion Devils, and these are just things with long swords that just thwack. So we want to look at a lower order devil, something maybe like a barbed devil. What do? They got a claw and a tail, and they hurl fire, and they do all sorts of crap. Too complicated. A bearded devil. It's got a whole bunch going on. I don't like that either. Maybe chain devil. I think we're getting too strong. He's got chains, but again, he's got all these. See all this text? I don't want all these words and my abilities for my minions, right? My minions need to be shitlings. All right, here we go. Spine devil, nice and simple. CR2. It flies around and stabs people. All right, I'm cool with this. And it's got a ranged attack, which I don't really care too much about, but it's a simple spined devil. So we're gonna bump this guy up and make him more threatening. First step is we're going to make him a CR, I don't know, like 7, doesn't matter. So we're going from CR2 to CR7, which means the proficiency bonus is increased. So right off the bat, we can increase their to hit by 1, because they're going from proficiency bonus of 2 to a proficiency bonus of 3. Secondly, these are warriors, they're war devils, they're legionaries. So we're going to make them a strength 17. So they're going from a +0 to a +3 to hit. So we're going to give them a +6 right now. They're going to have advantage on a lot of their attacks, hopefully, from the other dude. They have Devilish Sight. They have Flyby. They got that kind of stuff. I think we're going to get rid of the Tail Spikes. We're just going to treat these creatures like a regular deal. 2 attacks. We got to give them their plus to their strength modifier to these damages. And I think that's about it. They got their bite. They got their fork. Nice, simple monsters. Now, +6 is really, really low for this level. And I'm trying to think, is there a cool way we can do this? And the answer is yes, inspired. And we're going to call this, while the Horned Devil Lieutenant is not bloodied, this creature gains a +2 bonus, or I'm sorry, so the way to do this, right, is we say a bonus to its attack rolls and armor class equal to the Horned Devil's charisma modifier. Charisma modifier is the way we handle this, simply because it represents the charisma of the creature. So we look at the Horned Devil. We say, all right, the Horned Devil's charisma is +3. Sick. So these guys are actually attacking, and we're going to add that in parentheses so I know it's there. So we know that they're actually going to be attacking with a +6 and a +9 on both their attacks. Which is cool. It should be a little more threatening. We give them a 13 natural armor. I don't think we want natural armor. I think these guys are wearing plate. So, they have an 18. And then they get their +3 from, or maybe not plate mail. Plate mail is very, move Spine Devils up, by the way. So, maybe plate's a little much. Chainmail? Chainmail. That's a 16. I think that makes sense. They got their chainmail, their warriors, they're like part of a legion. Farfel, you really think plate's fine? The problem is I want the Horned Devil to have a better armor class than them. Okay, you know, Farfel, if you, no, I think the 16's okay. Because they got a +3, it's going to be 19 anyway. I think these are going to be great. And actually, they had an ability on here where they got a +2 to its defenses while adjacent to one other Legion Devil. And I think, so we're going to get rid of the spines because we got rid of that. Flyby is just cool. We're going to keep Flyby because that's radical. Keep Devil's Sight because screw you, Darkness. And then, what do we call that? Squad Defense. It already has magic resistance. Do I need to give it squad defense? Yeah, you know, yeah. Gains a bonus to saving throws equal to the number of devils adjacent to it. Radical. So that might be a little too powerful. Add his proficiency to the plate. Farfel, I really think you're really encouraging me to kill these players because you're not playing this week. Is that what's going on? Because I think that's going to happen anyway, but just wondering. So we got squad defense. We have inspired, which should be good. Magic resistance is just always great to have to counteract those. I cast Fireball and kill everything. And Devil's Sight is just good to prevent... Oh, cool, Farfel. That's exactly what's happening. Great. Excellent. That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check. So we got our Spine Devils. We're going to rename them to Legion Devils. Because I don't... And the reason I rename them is so that when they show up, players will see Legion Devil instead of Spined Devil. Now, they'll still see the tokens, which I'm going to just drag on the map now. Whap, whap. And whap, whap, whap. But, oh, we're going to stretch out the token to make them dumb looking. But, you know, I think that'll be fine. I'm not too concerned, personally. Yeah, maybe they're like that, so it's a little harder to even see them. Cool, so we got our Legion Devils. We got our Horned Devil, which is already on the map. And bada boom. And actually, let's call him Horned Devil Lieutenant. So one of the things that players have a problem with a lot of the time, and it's not a good thing. Like, I don't think players have any right to have this issue, but some players have problems with when they're playing a game, and you say, it's a Horned Devil, and they fight the Horned Devil, and the Horned Devil has abilities that are different from what the Horned Devil shows in the monster manual. Like this guy. I gave him Besiege Foe and Devilish Transposition. And so he's different than a Horned Devil in the book. And players get frustrated at that. And so I'm going to call him a Horned Devil Lieutenant. So they know he is different. He is not simply a Horned Devil. And that's super important. Oh, the Legion Devils have 1 hit point, by the way. They're minions. That's very important to note. So we've got this start set up. It should be pretty good. We got our monsters. Nice and easy. Let's head out to room number 2. Room number 2 is going to be a little more complicated, maybe. We'll see. We got Ice Devils, Entropic Collapse Hazards, and Cambion Soul Conflagrants. Okay. Those are our things. So Ice Devils. God, Ice Devils are very strong. I think. Pretty certain. Yeah, they hit like a truck. Man, hit for 3 attacks, a bite, and 2 claw. Bite, claw, tail. So that's going to be 20 to 34 damage a turn. I guess that's not really that big. Their wall of ice is going to be terrifying. Oh, God, and they can ice people into this place where it explodes. Holy shit, that'd be fucked up. Maybe we use 1 Ice Devil. So we got our Ice Devil. And I think these guys don't have any special commands. Yeah, Immobilize, that's terrible from Chilling Command. We don't want to do that. Slowed is just eh. So I don't think any of these abilities are really fun, so I'm not going to put them on. It called for 2, Mike. It called for 2. Farful! It called for 2. We're not putting 3. So we got 1 Ice Devil. And then maybe an Arrhenius would be fun because these guys have their longbow. And oh man, that poison just stays, huh? Oh, that's fucked up. All right, Arrhenius, we're gonna stick the Arrhenius back here, just firing away. And you know what? I think the Arrhenius is gonna take the place of those Cambions as we get down to them. Soul Conflagrants or whatever. Look at their abilities, and they knock prone. They weaken. Weaken is a mechanic from 4th edition that sucks. And Skull Search, Sword Scorch is just like, it's just not inspired to me. None of these abilities are particularly interesting, as opposed to the Arrhenius, which has like a sick whip and fires a bunch of longbow shots that mess people up and is just very powerful. So I think the Ice Devil and the 2 Arrhenius alone will be pretty powerful here. But just to, because I can see there's some blood being called for in chat, maybe we put a couple of these Legion Devils, and they have, you know, they're 1 HP as before, but they're just around. And that way there's something to, like, you know, some fodder. And my favorite one to include, the Lemure. If you're unfamiliar with the Lemure, it is the crappiest devil there is. And let's put some Lemures over here in the bone. Oh, you know, where are we going to put the Lemures? Put them over here with the bone. Now, fuck, I don't want to do that. There's just a Lemure chilling in the cloud. There we go. The happy cloud. Yeah, Nuparibos are the crappiest devil. I don't like Nuparibos. They're too fucking gross. For me, at least. This is gonna be a horrifying room. It's got 1 trap. It's got 2.5 traps if you include the happy cloud. And it's got an old man that they're gonna murder. So like, this is gonna be a fun room. We like this room. And then last, oh, you know, I just skipped over a whole bunch of. Actually, I really didn't, did I? Our hazard we already wrote down in our notes. The ice devils we already got there. So really, we're on to the very last room. This is like, it's super easy, guys. Once you do all of the hard work of like looking through the book and figuring everything out, and having like the tiles ready, it's really easy. So let's look at our legionnaires. Oh, it calls for more of our legionnaires. Great. 10 of them. Holy shit, that's a lot. And they're just going to be all over the place. I'm going to actually put them where it says to put them. I normally like don't really care too much, but whatever. Whatever, man. Legion Devils, Legion Devils, Legion Devil. And actually, that was supposed to be the Dragonborn, but we're not putting him in there because he's stupid. Legion Devil. Legion Devil. We're going to put one like hiding over here. He's fucking stupid hiding behind the house. Or behind the throne. That one's going to be back there. We got one like here. And where's our last Legion Devil? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's over there. He's right. He's chilling there. So they're pretty decently spread out. Yeah, nice. So now the most important part of the fight here, we got to look at this Pit Fiend. Pit Fiend. Pit Fiends are terrifying. They are a, so keep in mind this is a level 14 adventure. Bop. Pit Fiends are challenge rating 20. Oh fuck. These are very powerful beasts. They have damage immunities. They have a lot of resistances. Their saving throws aren't showing up, which is a little funky. I think it's because they have the plus in there. And I don't need to put the pluses. Yes, that was the problem. They can cast spells, like Fireball, and hold monster in wall of fire. They can cast lots of fireballs. They have this brutal fear aura. They have magic resistance. They got everything and the kitchen sink. And they hit like a truck. So what do we need to change to make this Pit Fiend, 5e Pit Fiend, more similar to this Pit Fiend from 4th edition? Let's look. Zooming in. Fear aura. Oh, we got the fear aura. Fire aura. Alright, auras that deal damage suck. They feel really lame. I'm not going to put it in. I hate using them. I would recommend using them sparingly. Replace the Pit Fiend with Zariel. I didn't import Zariel. Didn't set her up, but we could. What's the Amnezu? Amnezus are scary too, right? They're CR 18. But you know what? Let's not worry about that. We got the Pit Fiend. An ass ton of health. That sounds pretty similar. Replace hold monster with hold person. You're right. Let's nerf him a little bit and make his ability identical. Mace does a bunch of damage, and it does ongoing fire. Ongoing damage is just a pain in the ass to like remember, so we'll just keep it as it is. Tail sting. He's got a tail. Cool. Pit frenzy. Oh, okay. That's multi-attack. Except this is even more terrifying. Point of terror. Oh. Oh, God. Do we replace one of his attacks with Point of Terror? I kind of want to. What do you think, guys? Point of Terror. The target has to make a wisdom save, enormously high DC wisdom save, or have all of its defenses decreased by 5 until the end of the Pit Fiend's next turn. Ooh, I like that. I think that's better than his claw attack. So we're actually going to take his thing here. The Pit Fiend, instead of the claw attack, with its point of terror, and we're going to add point of terror. So, boop, 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 boop. Or actually, run with this. I'm going to keep claw in here because that like works, and say the Pit Fiend may replace any of these attacks with its point of terror. Shiva, assuming they don't all get wiped out turn 1. Exactly. Like, this is actually a really good ability. It's even good for him because it's the end of his next turn. If there's someone who comes in here with like, yes, my 28 armor class, just like, oh no, buddy, you're still dead. Yeah. So, a creature of the Pit Fiend's choice must succeed on a DC 15, 21 wisdom saving throw. And actually, is 21 what we want? Plus 7, 6. I don't know whether, Varful, you missed this earlier when we were going through the book. I have no fucking idea why there's a Dragonborn guy here. It's in none of the build-up at all. They just put a Dragonborn in here. As like the mantra of 4th edition was, it's, look, there are cool dragon people you can be. I don't know. I have no idea why there was a Dragonborn in this fight. I have no fucking clue. He's a rampaging Dragonborn. Farful. Obviously. Replacing him with a red Actually, you know, I could do that. That actually would be like, okay. Wait, Avishai are like CR8. The red Avishai is like a CR18. Howdy, Whittaker. I'm sorry, Whittaker B, 1987. Welcome to the stream. We're coming to the close here, but or have all of its defenses reduced, or suffer a -5 penalty to its saving throws and armor class until the end of the Pit Fiend's next turn. Oops, we got his point of terror. He boops you, and you're just gonna die. Yeah, just a green Avishai. You know, we're just gonna jump down 2 CR. We're gonna go CR 16 instead. I think I pulled it out of my butt right there. I think it was 16, right? Targets 1 devil. Oh my god. Oh my god, yes! Oh my goodness. Irresistible command? Absolutely! Oh, it's amazing! The Pit Fiend targets a lower level devil in the Pit Fiend. It explodes! and damages people. Pit Fiend targets. Yeah, I mean, like, we could replace the Pit Fiend with a red Abishai, but I don't think we want to do that. A lower level devil of its choice within 60 feet. It explodes. Creatures within 5 feet of the devil must succeed on a DC. I think it's gonna be easier than 21, right? We're gonna make it like a DC 17. Dexterity saving throw or take. Let's see, 2d10 plus 5. Replace him with an ancient red dragon, Whittaker. Oh, we could do that. We could just say there's an ancient red dragon here, but I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I like the Pit Fiend. It fucks shit up. If someone actually plays a cleric, oh man. Ooh, that's gonna be mean. Let's see. Or take 2d10 fire damage, half on a success. Cool. So actually, we'll make it like 3d10 and a bonus action. So he can just do this every turn, and I think that is what he's gonna do. Every turn, he's just gonna blow up a lesser devil. Maybe we do this instead of like. Replace. I don't think we're gonna need that. You know, I think irresistible command is just gonna be good enough. Oh, he also has an ability to summon more devils. You know, maybe we don't put that one in. There are so far a lot of things going on here. Oh, I see. I see. We're not placing the Pit Fiend. We're placing the Dragonborn with an Ancient Red Dragon. Well, I mean, that would be a terrifying, a thing. He has to make more ammo so that he can blow them up. I think that's fair. Yeah, we'll give him that. Infernal Summons. Alright, this is getting a little off the chain. But I think that's okay. And, you know, I think this is actually his action. Like a full action instead of doing anything else. The Pit Fiend summons 8 Legion Devils. Cool. Bap. Lagino. Okay. Disappear if Pit Fiend dies. So, Radical. He makes ammo for himself. They blow up. All this good stuff. Well, I mean, a Chain Devil is actually pretty weak. Let's see how strong the Dragonborn was supposed to be. Let's look at how powerful this guy actually was. He apparently was a level 26 monster. He's got Lightning Breath, which does no damage. 2d6, okay. A Blade Flurry, He stuns people, that's a dick move. Annihilates people when he knocks them down. Okay, so he knocks them down and then murders them. You know, I don't think. Ooh, I see what you're saying. We give him some choices to summon. Ooh, do we want an Aranyas though? We got the Legion Devils. We don't really have a good middle of the road though. Oh, a Horned Devil. 2 Horned Devils. Or 1 Aranyas. That's so powerful. And we'll call that an encounter, or once per day. And some chance of failure. The failure really is only with demon summoning is the problem. I think devils are kind of absolute in their how do I put this? Their ways, right? Recharge on a tune. Farfel, stop it. You know what? We're getting rid of the Aranyas. We're gonna do something else instead of the Aranyas. No, we're gonna keep the Aranyas. All right. I think this is fun. I'm okay with this. I kind of want to maybe this should be 2d10 fire damage. There's a variant summoning in the book. Oh, is there? How the fuck do devils have a chance of failure? Yeah, alright, the Pit Fiend just doesn't. Yeah, okay. Oh, right, yeah, I forgot about the trap. This thing is a blood-sucking trap, and we gotta add Shrek. So let's not forget to add Shrek. Because if Shrek dies, the party just loses. Which would be unfortunate for the party. So we don't need any of these other devils anymore. We got our base boys here. And I think with that, we're more or less ready to go. We've got our now even more terrifying than before Pit Fiend. You guys just kept having me stack more stuff on him. And I don't know, man. I kind of want to swap his Fear Aura for the Pit Fiend in this book's Fear Aura. What do you guys think? Yeah, Shrek. They're here to rescue Shrek, Farfel. Shrek was captured.
No, we're supposed to be bringing those back.
It's gonna be a great one. What do you think? 24d6. That's a big sneak attack. Oh, it's necrotic damage. Well, I think if Shrek dies, they lose. So they gotta rescue Shrek because I'll roll for the table damaging Shrek every turn. What do you guys think? Fear Aura, actual Fear Aura. The problem is like frightened can suck real bad, but just a flat -2 to attack is just, it seems a lot more boring. I'll stick with his regular Fear Aura. I like it. And Farfel, before you ask, I'm not going to do both. I'm not going to get 2 Fear Auras. Maybe. Yeah, well, I think it's different than sucks, right? It just like, it just feels bad. Just be like fucking lame. Be like, really? Just take a -2? Okay, sure. Once you're over the frightened, yeah, exactly, right? There's at least some merit to it. The problem is when you never get over the frightened condition. But anywho. Alright, you've got like a wall of text for your abilities, Pit Fiend. But I'm sure that'll be fine. Totally fine. Well, Archibald didn't die. Archibald's in great shape. I think we're just about set, right? We got everything we need here. We got our Legion Devils. There's a lot of them here, and they're going to blow up a lot. We've got our Ice Devil, Aranyes, and our Lemure in the corner, being a troll. And we got our Horn Devil and Legionaries up front. This encounter, this one-shot goes from like, oh, this isn't too bad, to like, all right, this is a really scary fight, to like, oh god, what have we gotten ourselves into? Kill retreating from, gotta kill the Mind Flayer. Right. Anywho, I think with that, we are just about complete. I will add in the stats for Shrek the Troll. He's not an ogre, he's a troll. And, yeah, I think that'll be more or less it for today, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Smoldering Flames of War, everybody. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch tomorrow. Again, tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time. It should be a pretty awesome show. We've got Pete Lyons, other Dungeon Master from Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. If you want to learn more about D&D Time, check out our main show, Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time, every Friday here on Twitch, or check out our website, dndtime.stream, or check out our Discord server, or just do all of those things, and you'll be the happy person instead of the confused person. Blah, blah, blah. My brain just crapped out. Yeah, we're going to be running this delve tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. And it should be a lot of fun. We got Maddie Morgs, other professional streamer, as our second player. I say professional, other Dungeons & Dragons streamer. And yes, Farfel, it does fall to me to pimp out Kyle's Twitter. I'll do my best. But yeah, and then of course 2 D&D timers, Adrian P. and Xanderil, both on Twitch, who are also going to be playing with us. Should be a ton of fun. With that, thank you everyone for chilling out. It's been a lot of fun, and we will catch you tomorrow with more D&D time behind the screens. Bye bye. Oh, I didn't hit the button. Bye again.